Hello, this is Daniel Mueller, and I am the Managing Director of SOLIDleaders. We specialize in executive coaching for CEOs and senior executives. This is our Tuesday evening networking meeting, and we're excited to have you here on August 4th, 2020. Tonight, it's a really special time where we're going to be talking about LinkedIn and how to use LinkedIn to the best of our ability to do networking. This is a networking group designed to help executives network with each other. So one of the benefits of attending is you get to network with anyone on this call. And Anne, who is our head of communications, say hi, Anne.
Hi, everyone.
Anne is responsible for making sure that she gets out a list of attendees and also gets elevator speeches on all of you so that you can have a little bit of an understanding at a glance of where everyone's at and what they would consider good networking for them. So we encourage you to network with each other. I'm going to start by just quick introductions of regular attenders. So if you would just, if you've attended this before, at least once before, I'd like you to just give kind of name, rank, and serial number just really quick, okay? So Chris Bowen.
Hey guys, Chris Bowen, Chief Privacy Security Officer and founder of ClearData.
ClearData is a healthcare cloud startup, yes? Lauren Goot.
Good evening, I'm Lauren Goot. I'm Vice President of Corporate Development and Strategy at Austin-based Bazaar Voice. We are the market leader in user-generated content ratings and reviews for retailers and brands in e-commerce environments.
Good. Larry.
Hi, everyone. Larry Wikilius, and I'm 25 plus years in engineering and marketing leadership in technology, silicon, data center type companies.
Good. Carolyn.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Jenkins. I'm a C-level executive currently serving as COO for a cybersecurity company, as well as a couple other C positions for 3 other companies.
Fractional right now. Right. Kenny.
Hi, Kenny Austin. I'm a Vice President of Services for a software company, global software company living in Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Good. Alan.
Alan Rudolph, Chief Customer Officer, Candidate / Executive in Transition, Enterprise SaaS, B2B, based in the Bay Area.
Good. Venkat.
Hi, I'm currently VP of Marketing at the Austin PMIA chapter and also VP of Development at an early stage healthcare startup.
Good. Danny. I'm sorry, Venkat, this is your first time, right?
Yes.
I made a mistake.
You caught me by surprise, but
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Danny.
Danny Austin, Vice President of Operations for McLean Food Service out of Dallas, Texas.
Yep. And Sharon.
Hi, Sharad Mathur. I was a Senior Vice President for R&D at Bloom Global, a supply chain platform company. Right now, I'm looking for a change.
Yep. And safe to say, these are all my executive coaching clients as well. Okay.
My name is missing.
Quick introductions by visitors. So Anne, who are your guests today?
Before that, I would like to ask, I believe Joanne also is not her first
I'm sorry, Joanne, where are you?
I'm right here. Thanks.
Oh, there you go. I'm sorry.
So I'm a 15 plus year strategic business development manager, and I built in 2 years $1 billion worth of business with Apple. So can manage very large, complex ecosystems globally.
Good. Sorry, Joanne.
No problem.
I got too many faces on the screen. Okay, Anne, go ahead.
Okay, my first guest is Neha Kunti. Sorry if my pronunciation of your last name is not correct. She is CEO at M&K Infotech.
Okay, Neha, welcome. Would you like to just tell us just about 30 seconds about yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Neha Kunti. It's Kunte, Kunte. I'm the CEO of MNK Infotech. They're based out in Dallas, in Irving, specializing in IT staffing, software development, and gamification of training.
Perfect. Good.
Okay, next.
Now and heart. I just love that space that you're in. The gamification, training, love it. Go ahead, Ann. Sorry.
Sorry, we have Gilles Rooks. He is Senior Vice President at Strategic Partnership and Alliances. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my name is Gilles. Actually, as you can tell from my accent, I'm not a pure native Texan. So I'm coming from France, and I'm an international business operations and strategy executive. So basically, with the natural ability for aligning long-range strategy to tactical efficiencies, I found myself in the past 20 years defining and implementing business transformation strategies and developing, scaling, and managing operational center of excellences. I've worked primarily in IT solutions and financial technologies within startup, SMB, and global enterprises, growing financials from early stages up to $150 million per year. I've built, developed, and led high-performing teams of up to 100 people, including remote locations and various nationalities. Before relocating to Austin, Texas, a few months ago, following my better half, I was the SVP Strategy, Partnership, and Alliances of a fintech leader in Norway. And before the US, I've lived and worked in 5 different countries, and I have always been involved with global businesses. And I'm now in the market for a position in a startup, SMB, or larger organization.
Okay, good. What role are you looking for?
Okay, so ideally CEO in startup SMBs and senior director, VP or SVP in larger organizations.
Got it. Okay, glad you're here.
Thank you, Daniel.
All right, who else?
My next guest is Francisco Sacasa, CEO at HireBetter.
Hey folks, first timer here. Thanks for the invite. I know some of you here, but welcome for everybody. I'm the CEO of HireBetter. HireBetter is an executive search firm. We work with entrepreneurial companies throughout the US and nationwide. We are based out of Austin, so a lot of our base is in Austin and Texas, but we work across all executive searches across the country. And just delighted to be here.
Good, glad you're here. Good, next.
Next, we have Justin Berg. She's President B2 Business Executive.
Hi guys, I'm Justin. I have my hands in a few things right now, but my background, I have 18 years experience driving revenue for multiple companies, built my own marketing advertising agency, so big background marketing and advertising, scaled it to an enterprise level, focused on programmatic advertising, CTV, over-the-top television. Currently, I am an agency owner for a software HRIS system, working with medium to small to size businesses to help improve their admin, HR efficiency levels. And also a CMO for a nationwide CBD company as well, your NHR. So.
Good, Justin, we're glad you're here.
Thanks.
And my last guest is Shafiq Khalid. Shafiq Budron, Chief Executive Officer, Principal, Ally Design Build, Inc.
Hello, everyone. This is Shafiq Budron. Thank you for the invitation. It's my pleasure to join you. I am CEO of Allied Design Build. Through my career, I've been around a few places. I've been around the block, and I've been like a C-level executive in areas across an array of sectors and industries with applications encompassing management and operation, construction, development, real estate, energy, technology, and so on and so forth. Currently heavily focused and after construction and real estate development projects. I am more or less a serial entrepreneur where we've established several opportunities dealing with developments, projects of different types, ranging from construction to real estate to energy to technology and so on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. Shafiq, glad you're here. Anyone else? Boris? Who are you a guest of, Boris?
Boris is my guest, but of the previous networking.
Okay, so you came here before, so you have to introduce yourself, like everybody who came here before. So very briefly.
Yes, I'm Boris Bloom with my CEO. We're a crisis consulting firm that specializes in the SMB market, helping clients really around cash flow, people, and risk issues that relate to their current crisis situation that they're probably going through.
Good, good. Glad you're here. Okay, has everyone been introduced? Is anyone not been introduced? Speak up. Okay, very good. All right, so for this time, I asked Ann to put together a briefing on LinkedIn and just how to use LinkedIn, best practices. So Ann, would you share your screen, please? Do I need to give you permission?
No, it's okay.
I do, okay. Very good. And just make it full screen. All right, good. So next slide. So everyone knows that you can use LinkedIn to manage your professional brand, and that you should. And building credibility on LinkedIn is really important. Next. So there's best practices. Next. Everyone knows about invitations to connect, and when you do make an invitation to connect, you should be specific with that invitation and say why that you want to connect. Go ahead, next. There's sample scripts for inviting others to connect. We're going to give you this presentation after we're finished here, and you'll have our script, but you can create your own scripts. Go ahead. And there's some more sample scripts. Go ahead. And posting on LinkedIn to keep your profile active. I think posting is really important. So, staying active on LinkedIn, like people stay active on Facebook, this is the Facebook for business professionals. And you should be active posting and then reposting things. So posting things that other people have posted, or just commenting on them. That's very good for networking on LinkedIn. Go ahead. We have a checklist for you of how to leverage opportunities, and we'll send, like I said, we'll send this to you. But you should meet all these things, right? Which means you're having recommendations, you're having a professional photo done. This is not a place to be sloppy. It used to be a place you could get away with being sloppy, but not anymore. You have to be really tight on your LinkedIn profile. Go ahead. And there's tools. So you should know the recommendations tool. I think it's important. Some people think that recommendations are not taken seriously, but I would disagree. I think that recommendations on LinkedIn are taken seriously, and who recommends you, I think, is important. So asking for people to make recommendations and write something good about you, especially if it's higher level folks than you. So if you're a CEO, it should be your board. If you're an SVP, it should be C-suite and CEO. If it's VP, it should be SVPs, CEOs, board members. Okay? And there's some ways of giving recommendations, but I think it's okay to give recommendations in advance and then ask for a recommendation in return. So that's one way of getting a recommendation. Another way is simply asking for a recommendation. And I ask for recommendations because I really like to have my clients posting things on my LinkedIn. I think I have about 160 recommendations right now. And it's just my way of keeping score of if I'm doing a good job, someone's going to write a recommendation. I don't write recommendations for people. I ask them to just make their own recommendation up. And I like it that way, but you can also offer to write recommendations for people. Good. And that's just more of the same. Good. Best practices, there's a checklist there. I would just recommend reading this afterward. Go ahead. Here's some compelling reasons why you should give recommendations. So I'll let you read that and you decide. Next. And skills and endorsements is another way that you can communicate with people. So it takes no time at all to endorse somebody for their skills. It sends them a message that you've endorsed them. It's a nice way of clicking around on LinkedIn. Next. And there's more of a tutorial there on how to give recommendations. There's a value of being endorsed on LinkedIn, and you can read that. Go ahead. Finding communities. Now, joining LinkedIn groups, which are virtual meeting rooms, I think is very useful. And I'd like to hear tonight of anyone who's in groups and if you find it useful and why do you find it useful and what groups are you in. So we'll come back to this in just a second as soon as we get through these slides. And there's some instructions on how you participate in a group. So this is really just, I'm showing you what's coming to you as a result of showing up tonight. We're going to give you this. This is not meant to be a webinar deep dive into LinkedIn and how you use it, but there's a list of groups you can join and a little bit about participating in groups. Go ahead. There's different options of posting on LinkedIn. You can post photos, videos, documents, and you can write articles, okay? And we suggest posting valuable content. Next. There are best times to post. There's a set of times for you that you can review. These are the best times of day and the best days. And what should CEOs post on LinkedIn? So we're going to give you some examples. Go ahead. And how often you should write or blog. There's my opinion. And tips for posting quality content. Now there's also LinkedIn SlideShare that you can learn. And this is like having a PowerPoint online. Okay. You can make those public or private. And why uploading to SlideShare is important. Again, you can read this, decide for yourself how much or how little you want to use LinkedIn, but it's pretty robust as a tool. Most people don't realize all the features that it has. Go ahead. And LinkedIn Learning. So there's lots and lots of e-learning courses. I've never taken any of those courses. I know they're there. And I would imagine they're not at the C-suite level. So, but you know, maybe for your people. Go ahead. Then there's also, for some of you who want to really, really get out there and make things happen on LinkedIn, you can actually pay. And you can pay, it's called PPC, pay-per-click advertising. And we did some research to give you some ideas of how much it costs and what you would spend for the various types of campaigns you can run. Okay? There's ways of advertising on LinkedIn. Go ahead. We're going to buzz through these very fast. Next, there's tools for monitoring metrics. And, oh, that's it. Okay, good. So forgive me for going through that quickly, but I didn't want to make this a webinar on LinkedIn. I wanted to give you some valuable information that we're going to send to you, but also I just like to talk about LinkedIn groups for a minute Tell me, are you involved in any LinkedIn groups? Do you get any value out of it? How do you get value out of LinkedIn groups? The floor is open. Anyone?
Yeah, I'm in a lot of LinkedIn groups actually. I've kind of limited my activity on there. I've found they used to be good, but they're not so good anymore. The activity is really just dead. I find my time is better spent in other areas to generate business or whatever I might be doing to network. So
used to be good, not so good anymore.
I would echo that, Daniel. I'm in about 6 groups, and whenever I jump in there, I get sales solicitations.
Yeah.
So I just hop right out.
Yeah. So lots of sales solicitations is what I'm hearing.
I share Justin's and Chris's view as well. I do belong to a handful of groups. For a while, I was more active than I have been lately, especially since the Facebook scandal and that sort of thing. And there is a lot of junk and a lot of scams and forced sales that seem to come and surface through the contacts on LinkedIn.
Okay, good.
Daniel, this Venkat, I just wanted to mention, as part of my, PMI Austin chapter role, my team has a LinkedIn group, and we do promote some of our webinars and meetings and so on through that. It could be more vibrant. I think we're looking for ideas as to how to jazz it up with better blog content and things like that. So that's.
So you actually run a LinkedIn group.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure yours is awesome. Not like the other ones.
So the LinkedIn groups, so I do belong to quite a few LinkedIn groups, but the majority of the groups that I belong to are closed groups. So you do have to have an invitation to join. And I get a lot of value of them out of the ones that kind of we've selected each other. I was selective about which ones I wanted to join, and they're selective about who they let join. So they're small groups. So I'm not in a group with 100,000 people because, well, you're going to get a lot of junk. But the groups that I'm in that are a couple of hundred or fewer, and they were very selective, I actually get good content. You know, there's not content that comes every day because not someone posts every day, but when they do post something, it's relevant and it's relevant to the group.
Carolyn, would you suggest that I start a LinkedIn group for my clients and former clients?
I don't think it's a bad idea. I think that just depends on, again, what your purpose is for the group. But is your purpose just to help people that you've coached connect with each other, or are you going to post some type of coaching, ongoing coaching in the group itself that people interact with? So what's your purpose for the group? Or both? You're going to share stuff and people who get there are going to get to know each other.
You know, when I started out in executive coaching 33 years ago, it was highly confidential. It was like hiring a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist. And you wouldn't tell anyone. There was a real taboo to mentioning another client's name. Today, it's almost a badge of honor that you have an executive coach. So we've changed a lot in 33 years, and it's not confidential anymore. And so, I haven't been asked to keep relationships confidential in a decade. So I like connecting my clients with each other because I like to know that there's synergy happening, and this is why I'm doing the networking group to connect you guys. This networking group is a staging ground for action. So it's not meant that you're going to get some tremendous value maybe tonight, but you will get tremendous value, hopefully, as you connect during the week with each other. And so I like connecting people, and I like to hear that there's synergy and that there's good results as a result of you guys connecting with each other. So that would be my agenda.
And I think, Daniel, the thing I love about my closed groups, and again, that they're smaller groups, is they do a much better job of making sure people follow the rules. There are no sales pitches. There are no random, you know, I'm sure we all get this. Every day I get tons of emails through LinkedIn. People are going to solve my problem. They have no idea what my problem is, but they are going to solve my problem for me. But that doesn't happen in my groups because I'm selective about what I join, and they're closed groups. And so, you know, the people that I'm in the consortium with don't try and solve my world problems, but we do sometimes pose a question. Hey, I'm trying to do this or trying to do that. And then people respond to the question, or there's good contents put out there. And I think that would be very beneficial for your group.
Yeah, I would love to see executives be able to post, for example, hey, I'm looking for a director of sales or a director of development. Does anyone know anyone? And be, you know, source some candidates that way as well. Some good talent for everyone.
Yeah, and I will tell you, one of the private groups that I'm in, you know, when the COVID first hit, a lot of the questions in the private group was, you know, who can find PPE for their employees and where are you finding it? Right? I mean, it was just like people, you know, helping each other, but they knew that it was at least in the closed group and that everyone on LinkedIn wasn't going to see it.
Right. Okay. So let me just ask you, can I launch a poll here? How do I do this? I don't know. I don't know how to do this. Yes, I do, right here. Would you join a group if I started one? There's the question. It's a single choice. The answer would be yes or no. Well, I'll give a third answer, maybe. And then I'm going to save it, and then I think I can post it. So, yeah. So how do I now poll you? Edit meeting polls. If you get out of there, go back to the meeting and poll you. Well, I apologize for this because I don't know how to do it. Do you think you can send out the poll? I just made the question. I would just love to poll the group right now.
Everybody could type yes or no in the chat box and you could count it up. See
How about
what the winning decision is.
There you
can raise our hand. We can give you a
Simple
thumbs up,
answer.
thumbs down.
I'll join.
Yeah. Can you please? Because I just have, oh, here, poll 2. There, launch poll.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Oh my God, you guys are too nice. That's 94% and one maybe. Do you guys see the poll or no?
No.
No.
No, I think you have to do something to make it visible.
Share the results. You see it?
Yeah.
Is that one maybe out there?
We won't say who that is. That was me. No, that was Ann. Ann, you have your answer, okay?
Another challenge.
A closed, poor Ann, you know, it's always, she never knows what to expect at these meetings. A closed group just for CEOs and senior executives, no salespeople allowed, no sales pitches allowed whatsoever, and it's there to help each other be better executives.
So Daniel, to add a little bit on these groups, I have to say Carolyn's right on with the closed groups. I actually have a group that I've started about 8 years ago. It's still active, but it turned into a free-for-all kind of with sales pitches and stuff. And I didn't really want to boot anybody and didn't want to monitor it, so I left it alone. But we are building a group right now for our own CEOs and founders of companies that are clients of ours that want to have like a roundtable discussion around issues that they're having within their company. So that's the purpose and the focus of the group that we're starting. But I've used groups in a different way a little bit in the past, where I'm a member in a lot of these larger groups, and it's been useful to me as a research tool to actually find members that have common interests and commonalities to what I'm involved in and reach out to them and say, hey, you're in this group. I'm also in this group, and I wanted to connect because we have a similar interest.
Right, right. Okay, well, that's good. And then if you're looking for a new role, as my good friend Larry Bokilius now is, I would say that go to some special interest groups that are in your space, right, Larry? You could actually join. Would you
Yep,
tell
agreed.
everyone what you're looking for, Larry? Because Larry just got the news. Am I going to steal your thunder? Or you want to tell him?
No, I think you're opening it up. That's fine. So last week was my last official week with Marvell, where I've been VP of Partner and Ecosystems. My background is very much on the sort of integration of software and silicon in high performance computing and data center environments. So part of what I'm going through now is a little bit of stepping back and determining exactly where I want to focus, but very much in innovative technology companies that I can take advantage of being both on engineering and marketing type roles. So I'm sure I'll use this forum to springboard a little bit more as we go forward.
Well, I've had the privilege of coaching Larry on and off now for over 20 years, and the last stint has been about 3 years or 4 years long.
That's right.
I don't know how long, but I just have to brag a second. I called it day one when that was 2 years ago, right?
2 years.
That was 2 years ago. So Larry had 2 years of heads up. Larry, the big fish ate the little fish. Now Marvell is how big?
So about a $4 billion revenue, about $30 billion market cap, large company.
$30 billion market cap, yeah. And your company?
So Cavium was acquired by Marvell 2 years ago, and essentially we've now fully gone through that process, as Daniel would have called 2 years ago. And so we've gone through the process, and the part of the business that I was responsible for is not going to go forward within Marvell at this point.
So Larry had 2 years heads up. So he's not,
that's why I've got a great coach.
He's not surprised, but I think joining some of these groups might be useful.
Agreed.
Okay. Shifting off of groups for a second, what other part of LinkedIn do you find most useful? What other part of LinkedIn do you find most useful?
I can jump in. We're an executive search firm, so LinkedIn is an incredibly important channel for us on how we communicate and stay in touch with candidates. So for us, that's an extremely important channel, probably the most important channel. We have our own proprietary database, but still a main vehicle. On a one-on-one basis, is a phenomenal tool, right? Keeping in touch with your personal network. It has become extremely noisy with a bombardment of sales, leads and sales reps and everybody trying to sell everything. Folks forgot to introduce themselves, right? They now just jump in and go, "Hey, I want you to buy this thing." It's like, "Who are you? Why are you even talking to me?" But it's still a good tool. It just has to be used with care, and all of us who live in the community need to be respectful of each other. And as long as we can do that, it will continue to be a great tool. But it's teetering, right? That it's being abused instead of being used, but still it's got some pockets, and particularly staying in touch with on a one-on-one basis is still a phenomenal tool.
I was with a client earlier today, and he's CFO of a major company, and he was telling me that there's a hot run on CFOs right now because he just got hit by a recruiter, had an offer, turned it down, and instead he's now becoming president of the company. So the CEO is going to promote him to president because they got him to stay. But anyway, he's saying he gets 2 or 3 calls a week from recruiters.
Yeah.
So there's some type of shortage on CFOs out there. I don't know why, Cisco, But the thing is, what I wanted to tell him, but I forgot to tell him today, is please talk to all recruiters who contact you, become their friend, and get their contact information and put it into your database, because those people are going to be very valuable for you someday as you're out there looking for your next thing. And Cisco, to your point, LinkedIn is one of the primary tools used by recruiters. Is that fair, Cisco?
So without a doubt, that's the #1 channel for us. So, and I think for all our recruiting firms. Yep, without a doubt.
Channel. So that means you really should take extra care to be perfect with your profile on LinkedIn. It should be flawless. In other words, there should not be one typo. You should have a professional editor go through your profile to make sure that it's flawless. And your resume and your bio should totally match what's on your LinkedIn. So in other words, you shouldn't have things that are on your LinkedIn that are not on your resume, or on your resume that are not on LinkedIn, okay? A lot of people think, okay, I'm gonna whack the last 10 years of my, the first 10 years of my career off my resume, and I'm out there putting out my resume, and it's like, yeah, but you got your chronology from childhood on LinkedIn. Where do you think that someone is going to go as soon as they get your resume? They're going to go to LinkedIn to look you up, right? Is that fair?
Definitely, without a doubt. And then all the social media, right? So it's not just LinkedIn.
Right.
I was just going to say, the comment about putting resume on LinkedIn, and that had been my approach previously as well. But I find, when you're really getting into achievements, specific financial achievements, percentage of plan, the kind of things that you kind of want on paper as in a face-to-face interview, but not necessarily on LinkedIn. How do you balance that? Because what ends up in my case, in my opinion, is I've got a bio on LinkedIn that is somewhat vanilla. Doesn't really stand out per se, but I think my resume is in good shape. But I'm hesitant to put that kind of detail into a LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, and as you should be. So I don't think that you should be having all that confidential information on LinkedIn. You have to be really prudent what you put on and what you don't, especially if you're with a public company.
Right.
Especially, I mean, that's really, really important.
Or even private companies I will go to find the head of revenue at whatever company is a competitor of ours and see what they have bragged about in terms of their achievements to go estimate their revenue or their cost of sales or things like that.
Yeah.
And can I just apologize? I misspoke, especially if you're with a private company. If you're with a public company, that information that you're putting out there, if it's historical, is already public, so that's okay. If you're with a private company that's not disclosing that kind of information, that's really bad. Yeah, good. How else do you use LinkedIn to your advantage? Curious.
And I can talk about, we use LinkedIn from a corporate standpoint, from a company standpoint. It's a great channel to create awareness. So we create blogs, live videos, live events, pictures, articles, like all kinds of multimedia of every kind imaginable to drive engagement. We don't have a huge following. We're not trying to get 1 million followers. We're trying to drive engagement. We routinely run 7% engagement from our followers, and we're constantly putting content out there that folks find interesting, and it just starts a dialogue, right? And that when folks either are thinking about moving, they'll think of us, or if you're thinking of hiring an executive, you'll think of us. And now we're trying to be relevant and stay active, and that by putting multimedia type communications out there, that it drives that engagement, right? It's not just bombarding it with emails and stuff like that. It's content that's interesting, and that's what we achieve to do.
So for thanks, Cisco. For people that don't have a huge amount of time to spend on LinkedIn, a busy executive, what can you do to check the box that you're using LinkedIn effectively? What do you think?
My opinion, it's posting, third-party articles that are relevant for your circles, right? You're not trying to get 1 million followers, all over the globe because you want to be popular. You want to be relevant to your particular network, to folks that you're trying to be influenced, right? You need to be an influencer in your particular circles. If you don't have a lot of time and you're not writing your own articles, which it's hard to do, it takes a lot of time, just finding articles that are relevant for yours and posting somebody else's stuff and giving them credit, right? Saying, hey, this article by so-and-so, and just passing it forward. People are going to start following you just because you're posting things that are relevant to your circles and your network. And you're going to build that influencer base within your network, whatever your niche of the universe is. It doesn't really matter whether you're in potato chips or silicon chips, right? Whatever your universe is, that's what you should be posting on. And your own articles are better, but if you don't have the time, energy, and effort, somebody else's stuff is just fine as long as it's relevant. And it has to be short. Think 30 seconds, 1 minute read. Don't post these fancy scientific researches that take 27 minutes to read. Nobody's going to read it. It ain't happening.
Lauren, I see you nodding your head. Tell me.
I spent a little time last few weeks segmenting out maybe the 100 people I most want to stay in touch with, and then gave them all labels about the data I would want to send them from LinkedIn. So I have e-commerce Japan, e-commerce Europe, network effects. And then when I find an article on that, experimenting with making sure I directly send it to those 5 or 6 people, see if that creates positive impact, and then recalibrate. But my feed is so noisy with a lot of this research that I've appreciated when people have taken the time to send me things very narrowly in that area of interest.
How are they sending them to you? Just to you?
Yes, in a few cases, I've had individual people say, I saw this article and I want you to read it. Not I'm posting it for my 1,000 followers, but I want you, Lauren, to read this. And I think that's cultivated a stronger relationship as between me and that person. So I went through a couple thousand LinkedIn candidates, said these 50-ish people I really want to curate a relationship with over a long period of time. But I think the way that I do that is by saying data on this topic is most valuable to Jim and Bob and Sally. And so when I have an article on network effects, Jim and Bob and Sally should know about that. And early days, but first couple posts got a lot of, hey, thank you, haven't seen that, or thank you, appreciate you sending it.
Mm-hmm. So what do you all think about what Cisco and Lauren are saying?
I agree with it, and I'll piggyback on what Cisco says. I mean, the posting, yeah, that's definitely important. I mean, it's your brand, it's your image. You need to treat it just like a campaign for marketing. It's what it is. Second to posting, I think engagement is just as important. Staying engaged with your audience, showing them that you're active, reaching out, poking them. I mean, it lets them know that you're still there. A lot of people go to your profiles and actually look at your activity history to see what you're interested in, to look at, to get more of a better sense of you and what you're doing and what you're currently in the market doing. So that's definitely something I kind of, with my network, if I see somebody posting a lot of stuff and I engage with their content and I don't really see anything back from them or other people, I kind of start skipping over their stuff and it fizzles out. So engagement is definitely just as important in my eyes. And there's one cool feature that I've recently come across probably 6 months ago. When you're searching on your feed at the top, you can sort it by recent or the top activity. I always go to recent. I want to see what the recent things are, not just who's engaging with what and what's the most active out there, So that's definitely a useful way to sort your feed out.
So there's different ways of sorting your feed, and we should learn those ways is what I'm hearing.
I think there's only 2. I think it's like the top activity, and then you can sort by most recent. It's just a little checkbox under the post box that you can flip up, just kind of like on Facebook, top activity or most recent. But yeah, I always go most recent. I want to see who's active. You know, I don't want to see what's been blown up with LinkedIn's algorithm. You know.
Got it. Okay, good. Carolyn, you're going to say something? You're muted though, so we can't hear you. You're going to have to unmute.
All right, there we go. Thank you. You know me, I always have something to say. Many executives, you know, people on this call, you're often given presentations, speaking, doing a webinar. That's all content, right? And on your LinkedIn profile, there's a place where you can put like featured content on your own profile, and you can post your webinar videos there, or links to them, or your presentation, put it into slides, and as they mentioned, and put it there. So sometimes you don't have to go create anything new. You just have to remember to market what you're already doing.
Mm-hmm. Good. That's excellent. And I'm going to be looking to you to do that posting for us on LinkedIn. Also I really like what was said about reposting other people's articles, because you don't have to go and write a great article. What you can do is just find a great article. And Ann, if you would do this for me, and then just start finding great articles and reposting them, please.
One thing I would add to that is try to stay in one topic. You know, posting 12 different articles on 8 different topics just confuses your audience, right? But becoming kind of a subject matter expert on one topic that's, again, in your circle, and continuously post that's going to drive engagement and followers, and puts you in a position that you're seen as an influencer, a subject matter expert, whatever that topic is.
And again, thank you for that. I'm wondering for the executive who doesn't have a lot of time, who's really, really busy, what's the least amount of time for the greatest amount of value that you can spend on LinkedIn? Where is it? I think one of them that we hit on tonight, and that is the reposting of great articles. Because you didn't have to spend the hour to write that article. You just had to find it, read it, say, this is really great, and repost it to your network.
So Daniel, I've been seeing in some of the feeds that there's starting to kind of be a backlash of people just reposting things, and, you know, they're commenting that you're not creating your own content. So I would still be a little careful about that, and actually have, like, not just a great article, but maybe just something meaningful to say about it.
And that's the key, I think. That's right, Joanne, is adding value by curating something interesting, not just blasting the web with stuff, or then it becomes Twitter.
Yeah.
And then adding your 2 cents as to why that's interesting, right? So that I think you're exactly right.
Yeah, I think so. And would you please find and then share your screen? Let me know when you found it. My quote of the day. I just want to get folks' take on it. Just any quote of the day. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you have to add value, not just blindly post things, repost things. Right. What else?
Daniel, one thing I found that's really useful is if you've got some people that you're connected with that have a higher profile, and when they post something, then you're reposting it. If you engage with them around those posts and give good feedback and comments, they will do the same for you when you post. And sometimes adding them in the mention when you make a brand new fresh post with some unique content really creates a lot of great interaction. So you kind of can build a following of 2 or 3 or 4 thought leaders that recognize you and connect with you. And so every time they post, they mention you and you mention them, and it creates a great following.
Yeah.
So Daniel, we haven't touched on hashtags.
That's what I was talking about.
Hashtags, and in LinkedIn, at the search bar, you can search on the hashtag and it will tell you how many followers it has. So if you're not sure if you want to do hashtag leadership versus hashtag servant leadership, you can go see the number of followers on both of those. And maybe you want to do both when you do your post. But hashtags are a good way to get more visibility if you use them correctly. And don't make it Twitter. Don't put 12 hashtags on your LinkedIn, but pick 1 or 2 relevant to what you're posting. And
Carolyn, I totally saw you do that the other day. So
And would you do a slide on hashtags, please, before you send out the deck to everyone?
Daniel, I have one comment.
Yes, please.
And I would be remiss if I didn't say it, but it's around security, because that's what I do.
Okay, our chief security officer for the night is going to talk. Hold on.
So have any of you gotten a link in a message from somebody on LinkedIn? Like, click this, download this, take a look at this bio or whatever. Surefire way to get your computer hacked and malware put on it. So several of our customers have had very serious security incidents because of that. So just be careful of the links. And anytime you see somebody offer you a download or a file, just ignore them.
Yeah, that's
I love those phishing scams.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion, Chris. The one comment one insightful thing I found in your deck, Daniel, was the days and the time of the day when you can post, right? When people would read things, right? And I think with tools like Hootsuite, where you can schedule your post to go out at certain times, I think those would be helpful. And then I just have a general question, which is, my challenge has been, how do you get into a discipline of when do you read these posts, when do you comment on them, right? It's almost like, just like email, you need to set this time of the day when you go through all these, right? Just curious what, people's experiences, getting into that discipline.
It's on my calendar. I literally have a placeholder on my daily calendar that literally reminds me to go interact with Twitter and LinkedIn. I don't have to remind myself to interact on Facebook. I will do that without someone telling me to get on Facebook. But I literally have a daily reminder to go interact on LinkedIn and Twitter. And I've got it blocked so I also don't go down the rabbit hole and spend too much time.
Good point.
Yeah, adding it in on your phone as well.
Daniel, completely related to LinkedIn, but different question.
Well, hold on 1 second. I want to repeat what Justin said.
Okay.
Justin said to have it on your phone as well. I think that's important to have it on your iPad or PDA devices so that it's everywhere. And so, at night sometimes when I'm just about to go to sleep, I may just be looking at the news and then I'll click on LinkedIn and I'll do 1 or 2 LinkedIn messages, and that's my LinkedIn for the day. But
that's exactly it, Daniel. You don't know how many times at night I get hit by my wife because I won't get off LinkedIn and stop working. So
there you go. Okay, and Alan, go ahead.
Who on this call is aware of, has used Lunch Club?
I'm aware of Hair Club for Men, but that's a different.
So I mean, I'm fascinated by LinkedIn. Everything has been said is great. I've been using Lunch Club for about 3 months for networking, and probably done 15 calls and have had 12 great ones. It is I don't know. We'll see where their journey goes. I actually talked to somebody today who knows the people that invested in them early on. They have no revenue model at this point. For those B2C junkies out there, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with all this stuff they're creating. But right now, and I'm sort of amazed at their AI tools and to the extent they're matching me with folks. It is unbelievable. Send me if you want to get invited, you can send me a link, or Daniel, I invited Daniel. He can send you a link. It's pretty impressive from a networking standpoint, what I found so far.
Yeah, Alan, I'd love to try it
Pair
out
that
if you
up
can.
with LinkedIn.
I'd like to try it.
Yeah, I tried it. I started it just 2-3 weeks ago, and I think it's been valuable.
And would you send everyone an invite, please, from me? Alan, do you mind if I do that?
Go for it. You get all the points then, Daniel. You're going to have to give me a few.
Okay. You turned me on to this, right?
I did.
Yeah. But everyone is going to get an invite, and it's a requirement that you do 2 lunch club meetings for the week that you agree. So every week you get to, at the beginning of the week, say yes or no to doing lunch club for the week. You don't have to do it, but if you decide to do it, then they will pair you up with 2 people. And you have to give 2 different time slots for 2 1-hour time. Is it 1 hour, Ann?
45 minutes.
Oh no, well, you can also put in your calendar that you only want to have the meeting for 30 minutes.
Oh, you can. Good.
Yes.
And that's what you're doing for me, right? Only 30 minutes? Please.
Yes.
I have met one person that I'm looking at bringing on as an executive coach on our firm, another person that's looking at investing in our firm, and we're having interesting conversations. So far, I've had 3 meetings on Lunch Club, and 2 of them have been hits. So it's been very interesting. Okay, any questions in closing? LinkedIn questions, just go to your chat right now, if you would, and we'll try to answer these via email, or actually through the deck. We can write out the answers to questions. So if you would please just type in any question you have on LinkedIn, just in closing, go to your chat right now and just ask a question, any question at all. And then Ann, if you would download the chat and then just put those answers. I'll answer in the next few days. I'll do my best. Doesn't mean that they'll be the right answers, but you'll get an answer on those. And if you don't have any questions now, because it looks like no one's giving me questions, then feel free to send me a couple of questions around LinkedIn. But let me just have a one poll. I'm gonna ask you. Let's see, stop sharing the poll. Poll is closed. Was that sharing the whole time? Wasn't? Okay, because it said this is not a coaching session. This is a meeting, but this is the one that this is the only poll that I have built already. So I would just like to poll everyone. Just this meeting here, if you would please let me know how satisfied or dissatisfied you are with this meeting. It's totally anonymous. And then I would like you, did everyone vote? Come on. Anyone else have to vote? Okay, end poll and share results. So what could I have done differently to make this a very satisfying event? 50% said satisfied. What would you like to do? What would you like to see more or better? Send me an email, please. Let me know what I could do to make this a really, really fantastic meeting. I'm trying different things for those that are new. I started this networking group about 4 months ago, something like that. And it's an experiment in online networking. How does it work? What can we do to make it the very best possible? What we used to do early on is we used to say we're going to help somebody, and we would go in and pick on Larry, and Larry's now looking for a new executive role, and we would say, okay, let's help Larry, and we would all try to dig into our networks and figure out who Larry needs to meet, and we give him referrals. We haven't done that in 4 or 5 weeks, and what we've been doing is we did a couple weeks back, we had an executive search person, Cisco, show up, and that person gave us a bunch of answers to questions that the group had about how to work with recruiters, how to interface best with them, how to leverage them, how to build relationships, etc. I thought that was a really interesting meeting. And then tonight, for the first time, we're trying some content. So we tried to put together some content and give it to you. So just shoot me a note, shoot me an email, please. Let me know how I could make this better. Okay, and then last, please bring somebody to the meeting. So we'd like new faces, we'd like new fresh ideas and thoughts. So please invite a guest. Okay, closing comments. Anyone have anything to say before we go?
I have ready
Appreciate
the
the
quote.
invite.
What's that? I'm sorry?
I was saying I
Okay.
appreciate the invite.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Great session.
Same here,
Likewise.
first timer, great group, really enjoyed meeting you all. If any of you want to connect, I would love to stay in touch, and please invite me again. I would love to come by and say hi.
Every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Cisco, you are invited.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, this is for CEOs and senior executives only. So we're not interested in anyone selling anything, and we're not interested in anyone below a VP level. Okay, and it's not to be elitist about it, but it's a closed group for networking only with other C-suite or VP level executives. Fair? All right, folks. Thanks a lot for coming. Sorry we went overtime tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Dan.
everyone.
Good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.